Hey guys, just got off of work, just got home, and it's kind of pondering the question: should a follower of Christ worship the holidays? And I'm using the holidays for a reason. I'm not saying Christmas because I don't really think Christ has anything to do with Christmas. Um, I've already recognized that Christmas is a holiday of pagan origin. It's not the only one, but it's the biggest. Um, and so I'm just kind of thinking, okay, I know Christ it has nothing to do with December 25th. There's a lot of pagan syncretism going on there of that holiday. But the question I have, and I guess I'll pose this question in the video. I'm not claiming to have an answer. As a matter of fact, it's something I'm still thinking about. But if you're a follower of Christ, you recognize that Christ and Christmas has nothing to do with one another. If you observe the holiday, you pretty much do the same things that any typical person would do on Christmas, but you recognize that God has nothing to do with this. The Messiah has nothing to do with this. Is that bad? Is that wrong? For going, for doing, practicing the holiday, but you recognize, that what you're doing has no credence or relation to religion whatsoever. That's the question that I'm trying to ponder. Because one thing I notice is when you start to realize a lot of things, like, for me at least, I feel I recognize that Jesus is not God. He's not pre-existed. He was a man. You realize how a lot of the religions and the traditions are awful and wrong. A lot of people aren't aware, but if you find these things out and you start breaking yourself away from them, it kind of puts you on this path where anything that you feel could be remotely related in any way, you need to cut ties with. And a lot of times that's correct. But the thing I'm wondering is, do you go to a point where you've gone too far where it wasn't even necessary? And I'm wondering that about Christmas, as they call it. Like I said, if you observe December 25th, you do the things that they all do, but this has no identification with religion whatsoever. Is it still something that's wrong in the eyes of God? That is the question that I'm trying to ponder. And I really don't have an answer. I mean, naturally, I want to say, no, Christians shouldn't celebrate that day because it was rooted in pagan practices, and it's leftover pagan stuff. And Deuteronomy says, do not inquire about the way the heathen worship me because they worship me in all the ways that I hate. Don't worship me in that way. Okay, fine. I won't worship you in that way, God. No big deal. I won't do that. But if I don't see that day as a worshiping or an observance to God, and I just see it as a day where family gets together and eats and watches a football game or whatever people like to do on that day, and nothing to do with religion, is it still wrong? So I hope my question is understood. I'd rather not get comments, I guess, if anybody chooses to comment. I'd rather not get comments about the origins of Christmas and how it's pagan. I'm 100% aware of that. To that I say, understood. I'm just saying, if you separate the two, is it still wrong? Some things you can't separate. Like I would say the Trinity, for an example, is something you can't separate. Like you can separate December 25th observance of that holiday. You can separate that from God because you don't have to relate it to religion whatsoever. But the Trinity, that is a core belief pertaining to a belief system or religion or a worshiping of a God. So you cannot separate those two. So that's something I would say you have to abandon the Trinity. But in this case, I want to get, and I also want to say, it's not because I want to worship December 25th that bad. To be honest, I really don't care if I do or not. It's just more of a general idea. It's not an emotional attachment to the day. I really don't care. But I just want to know the answer. So There's my 5-minute rant. So if anybody wants to comment, enlighten me, throw some ideas out there, I'm wide open. So anyway, hope you have a good one. Thanks for listening. Shalom.